There's well over 1,000 of these recordings on Facebook and YouTube, and like actually an encyclopedia wealth of this meditation that we practice. I hope people go there. I don't know if they do or not, but it certainly is available to anybody. I mean, free of charge, and I think just almost every one of these talks I give is posted on Facebook, on YouTube. I mean, I don't go to Facebook. I gave it up years ago, but it's there, and it's available to whoever really wants to reference an encyclopedia of Rudy's meditation practice. It's all there. To transcribe some of it and make a book out of it, an interesting book. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Somebody's got to have a question. Sometimes the question and answer period is the best part of the class. There's something that comes up in my life every day, and not so much for myself, but for many of the people that I interact with and have to do with, and has to do with expectations and living one's life in accordance to what the objective world presents to them. It's a state of being that does nothing but cause unhappiness, despair, lack insecurity, and a lack of self-worth, because the objective world is a constant polarity. It's always positive and negative. And when positive things happen, we make some money, we have a relationship, something good happens. We're on top of the world, we're happy, we're, you know, carefree, we really feel great. But following positive is always going to be negative. One attracts the other. And when the negative comes, people get depressed, unhappy, miserable, and all of the joy of that positive experience goes right down the drain because they don't live their lives centered inside with balance, with foundation, with rootedness, that gives them the ability to truly deal with both positive and negative so they can equal out the polarity that exists in the world. It no longer determines their mood, how they feel. It's just life and what they have to deal with every single day. And I think we all go through that. I mean, we all have expectations about what life is supposed to, we're entitled to what life is supposed to bring to us. And in many cases, we spend a lot of time being disappointed. Well, being disappointed is much a part of being, pointed, whatever the word, is much a part of, things going in a positive direction. And we need to build a system inside that doesn't allow one or the other to drain our energy. We have a rootedness, a foundation, a growth in ourselves that doesn't get, stuck in a world that's dependent upon what Maya, illusion, the objective world brings to us. And trust me, it just eliminates so much heartache. So much heartache. Because, look, the world, most of life is, as we see it, is a manifestation of what goes on in the human mind. And in the human mind, it's positive and negative. It's right, wrong, good, bad, It's all polar opposites, you know, combating each other that goes on and creates so much tension inside us that we then project onto life. And it attracts situations that are positive, negative. It attracts exactly what we are inside ourselves. So instead of looking at life as a mirror, telling us what we need to do to grow, we look at life as sometimes a friend, often an enemy, you know, telling us things we don't want to hear, but are really true about ourselves, and that we can use to truly build an inner life that is strong enough to get free of illusion. I mean, this is what meditation is for. I told you many times that meditation isn't a spiritual life. Meditation is building an inner life that is strong enough so that you can have a spiritual life. So that one isn't attached to illusion and also delusion, which somehow presents itself just about every day that we have to live. I mean, I always quote us that wonderful aria in Handel's Messiah: every mountain and every valley and every hill and every plain, the crooked made straight, the rough places plain. I mean, basically, they were talking about in the Bible what I'm talking about now, except I'm using contemporary language. Every high and every low and the crooked made straight. Balance, foundation, rootedness, chi, inner power that enables us to transform anything that happens to us into a spiritual life. And not forgetting it, you know. I guess this scares people off. People get out of here. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? I mean, this is the majesty of what Rudy gave to the world, the ability to transform anything into a spiritual life. The realization that whatever you see in the external world is nothing but a reflection of yourself. We all are at war within ourselves. We all are starving to death spiritually within ourselves. And all of the things we see in the external world just reflect the condition of each and every human being. And if that mountain and that valley become plain and the crooked made straight, you know, there'd be a lot of peace and harmony in the world. Instead of complaining and fetching and, you know, think about the wonderment of being able to live every day with the ability to transform tension into a spiritual life. It becomes compost. Compost creates an organic garden. Tension is human compost if it's used consciously. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Should make a t-shirt. Tension is compost, and compost creates organic gardens. Put a big sign in everybody's room. Hey, tension is just compost. Use consciously, it gives you a spiritual life. Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question, if you'll indulge me.
Yes.
So, can you talk about what subconscious mind is? It seems like most of our junk is semi conscious or subconscious that comes bubbling up.
We bury it. Understand? We have anger and we think we get rid of it, but we're just burying it in the unconscious. And when you do meditation, such as I teach, geez, people are leaving here like crazy. I guess it scares the shit out of everybody. A little bit of reality, you know? Uh, when you look, Kundalini yoga is like drilling for oil. And I don't know if you get the metaphor. You got to go through 1,000 miles of bedrock in yourself, of buried unconscious garbage that we not only have from this lifetime, but we probably have from 10 lifetimes ago also, buried inside us. And we have to drill through all of that bedrock to get to pockets of love, of joy, and then allow those pockets to open and spread and transform all that bedrock into a spiritual life. And frankly, what we bury inside us is as thick as bedrock. And we need to learn how to break it down. We need to learn how to break it down, transform it into Shakti, into prana, into energy that truly opens us up and builds a life that is strong enough to transform what's killing us into a spiritual life. That's healing. So people heal themselves. So basically, what accumulates in the unconscious, thousands of lifetimes of repressed energy that we tap when we truly develop a strong chakra system. We get strong enough to transform that it comes up. And it's like homeopathic medicine, it gives us the disease before the disease goes away. Then we can flush it out of our system. We have to bring it up. It's like dredging a river. You ever see a river being dredged? All the garbage comes to the surface. You don't bring it to the surface, you can't get rid of it. Well, by drilling, by using the mind properly, the breath properly, by using our will properly, we drill through the bedrock and we break it down and we transform it into energy that we can flush out of our system and get rid of the things that are killing us, that are creating all the pain, the difficulty, the unhappiness inside a human being. And this is much more profound than psychologically trying to analyze it. Where do you get? You understand it, but it's still in your head, But
Yeah.
this is living experience of how to use living experience to break down the things that are keeping you from being happy, from having a spiritual life, from tapping on the highest levels of your own humanity. I mean, God
So,
bless Rudy. He developed this meditation. It's just a miracle if people use it properly. It's like a miracle to have this in one's life. And I mean that. Certainly saved my life. I didn't know how to do it before I met him. I just had no idea of what I was dealing with. And I was a pretty screwed up young man, trust me. He once told me, I'll never take another student like you. He told me. He told me this. I will never take another student like you.
No.
And this exercise over time transformed the things that were killing me into a spiritual life. And just as important, and to me, becoming a human being, learning, the joys of keeping my heart open, having compassion for other people, doing this 7 times a week online. You got to be crazy at my age to do this 7 times a week. But
Thank you
I
for
have so
that.
much
Yeah.
gratitude for what this thing has done for me. I'm hoping that it truly does the same thing for other people. So I do this out of gratitude to my teachers. So, the unconscious is a composite of thousands of years of crap that we buried there. Takes us right back to the beginning of time, practically. And we have to hit those pockets of oil. We have to break down the bedrock in ourselves, free ourselves of all the things that are keeping us from having connection with God, opening to higher energy in the universe.
So when I go unconscious for moments at a time, when I'm receiving Shakti from you, when I come back to the concentration, I put that in the hara. And I
Yes.
guess it's just a process. Eventually, I won't try and avoid those things on some level.
Listen, it
That
takes
energy.
time. It takes time, Stefan. It's not something. I mean, look at it this way. It took you this amount of time to get into this condition. You're not going to get out of it in 2 weeks, okay?
Fair enough.
It's not going to go away in 2 weeks. You have to, it takes time. I remember just before I went to Denton, Texas to live, I'm with Rudy in the back of his gallery. And he said to me, Stu, I was ready to leave, to go get a plane to fly to Denton, Texas. Well, I'm telling you, I'm scaring people away left and right. Disappearing here. It's ridiculous to miss these things. I don't know why people leave. What's the point to miss this kind of, this kind of energy of what goes on here, It's ridiculous. Spend another 10 minutes, may get something to save their lives. Anyway, I'll never forget it. He said to me, if anyone ever asks you who and what the guru is, you tell them the guru is life. I never heard that before. I always heard the guru was Swami Muktananda, Swami Nityananda, Swami this one, Yogi that one. They were the gurus. The guru is life. It took me 20 years to understand what he taught me at that moment. I had to get past myself. I had to embrace the real teacher, be grateful to Rudy, to Nityananda, to these great souls that helped me grow in my life to get to the ultimate guru, which is life itself. And that's why when that happened, I gave up being a guru. I resigned from being a guru. I said, no, my job isn't to be a guru. My job is to build people so that they can truly embrace the real guru, life. And by embracing life, they can get closer and closer to the truth of why we're born here. But it took me 20 years to learn what he taught me, that one moment. And the reason why, I had to get past Stuart. Now, consciously done, you might be able to get past yourself in 20 minutes. I don't know. There's no time frame here. And that was just me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like? Does anyone have a question? Oh, you had a question. Okay, God bless you all. There'll be meditation tomorrow evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful day, and thank God that we can all be together and share in this incredible energy and Shakti that hopefully is giving us all a connection with God. So God bless you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Good night.
Thank you for doing this.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Good night.
Good night.